there is a new type of event called Dream Shard Week event in Pokemon Sleep. In this video, we're going to cover how to optimize our rewards during these Dream Shard weeks and which area to choose. The information in this video will include tips for all sorts of players, including free-to-play and also Mega Whales. Welcome back to another Pokemon Sleep video, it's Vinny here. Let's take a look at the bonuses of this event. Let's get two things out of the way first. Number one is there will be a mini candy boost during this event. For the first event of its kind, this event will begin on the 21st of April, during which every day of that week you can use this mini candy boost 50 times per day. This happens quite frequently, so most of you should know what it's all about. I won't go through this in depth because I've covered this many times before, but generally speaking, you should use this feature on low-level Pokemon or Pokemon that you have limited candies for. Maybe it's hard to farm, or maybe your friends aren't sending those candies. Ideally, both conditions are met to use this feature optimally. If you don't understand this, let me know in the comment section below. And secondly, the Dream Shard Week bundles. Once again, there are three types of bundles, S, M, and L, and this time they're very focused on selling you anything related to Dream Shards. If we look purely at the diamond cost, the best value is Bundle L, followed by Bundle M. However, Bundle M and Bundle S have more commonly used items like Great Ball, Pokeball, whereas Bundle L once again includes Ultra Biscuits, which although normally are expensive, so it's nice to get at a discount, there's just not a lot of ways to use Ultra Biscuits optimally. It's always good to keep a few in your back pocket in case that hungry Dedenne strikes or that hungry legendary strikes, but otherwise, Great and Poke Biscuits generally do the job pretty well. So then the other question you should ask yourself is whether you need Dream Cluster or Luck Incense more. Because if during this event week or any other week you use more Luck Incense, let's say you have very high drowsy power and you can normally achieve 30 to 40,000 Dream Shards in a session, Luck Incense may be optimal for you. It would be cheaper to use a Luck Incense which is valued at 150 diamonds to double your sleep session Dream Shards at 30-40,000 Dream Shards than it is to buy, say, Dream Cluster L in the large bundle, which costs you an equivalent of about 700 diamonds for about 65,000 Dream Shards. So ultimately, it's about how you use your resources that matters the most. So in that sense, optimally using Luck Incense can make more sense than just straight up buying Dream Clusters. So if hypothetically we remove Dream Clusters from these equations, yes, Bundle L is still the best value, Bundle M second best in value, but Bundle S probably the one to skip this time around. Alright, now that the boring stuff's out of the way, let's talk about bonuses during this week on your sleep session and your Dream Shard Magnet Pokemon. During the first Dream Shard event week, two main things happen. Number one, the sleep session Dream Shards are multiplied by 1.5 times, which by the way means that your Luck Incense will be more powerful as well. So while you might be thinking about maximizing your Dream Shards earned by investing in a Dream Shard Magnet S Pokemon, don't forget that Dream Shards from Sleep Research is also boosted. And consider that any drowsy power or Snorlax strength that you farmed on the first day of any week is reused in every session after that. So Monday you farm a certain amount of strength, it's reused Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's almost always a good idea for resources to raise your Snorlax power as high as possible on your first day before then you consider switching over to a skill Pokemon for Dream Shard Magnet. If you've done your maths, maybe it is worth just running your Dream Shard Magnet from day one, but do remember there are losses in Sleep Research if your Dream Shard Magnet Pokemon doesn't farm you a lot of strength. A quick side note, if you found this event a little familiar, it's because we've had boosted Dream Shards before during the last holiday event 2023 and 2024. Both of which, by the way, actually had a greater boost to Dream Shards earned from Sleep Research compared to Dream Shard Week. So actually, your Luck Incense would be better off used in a holiday event than a Dream Shard Week event. But in reality, these numbers change every event anyway. Maybe they won't give us these boosts in the next holiday event. So all we can do is hope for the best and just spend our resources as best as we can predict it. So I'm not against using Luck Incense to boost our Dream Shards for this event as well. One additional tip is don't forget to bring your Dream Shard bonus Pokemon, the sub skill, in order to get even more Dream Shards from your Sleep Research. anything that you've already invested in that has pre-existing Dream Shard bonus so that you don't have to waste any resources trying to get another one would be a good idea. The second thing that happens during Dream Shard week is Dream Shard Magnet's effectiveness, so how much Dream Shards are farmed, is multiplied by 1.5 times. And it will be doing it 25% more than usual. The total effect is 1.5 times 1.25, which happens to be about 1.875. How much Dream Shards is that? Let's use a perfect Swalot as our example. Here I've got a Swalot that's set for helping speed, helping bonus, skill trigger, and main skill chance up. At level 50, the breakpoint for the sub skills, in 24 hours, and of course you might not be awake 24 hours and you may not collect every single trigger, it will farm about 30,000 Dream Shards over about 10.5 triggers. But of course 30,000 Dream Shards times 1.875, because of the event bonuses, you're looking at about 56,000 Dream Shards for an absolutely perfect Swalot where you've invested to level 8 main skill, level 8 being recently introduced for this skill. And while that might sound like a lot, don't forget you have to invest approximately 200,000 Dream Shards to raise one to level 50, and a number of main skill seeds will need to be invested. I'll be showing you which Pokemon I've decided and free-to-play Piggy has decided on investing for this event at the end of the video. So a perfect Swalot should only take about 3 to 4 days during this event in order to make back all of its Dream Shards spent on it. So you'll break even by the end of the event if you collect often. So for the average reasonably good Swalot, by the end of the event, you should be able to get all the Dream Shards you've spent on the Swalot back just from this skill alone. Of course, you still get to keep the Swalot so you can use it for future events where then it'll continue to produce more Dream Shards. The only thing you've lost in this trade is a few main skill seeds, so I think it's worth it to invest in a good Swalot. Don't forget that this is a perfect Swalot. You're probably not going to see 57,000 Dream Shards per day during this event. And while we're on this topic, let's have a look at the level 8 skill update. So here are the numbers for the variable outcome Dream Shard Magnet. Level 8 now can farm you anywhere between 1150 to 4600 Dream Shards. If you happen to be running a fixed outcome Dream Shard Magnet S, then it will be 2500 per trigger. Now, if you thought, like I did, you could predict what they might give you for future level expansions, you might be a little wrong. Let's take a look at the fixed outcome Dream Shard Magnet. For the new skill level at level 8, it's 700 extra Dream Shards compared to level 7. Prior to that, it was 550 compared to level 6. So each time you invest a main skill seed, the amount of increase actually goes up. So it looks kind of exponential. This is great for fixed outcome Dream Shard Magnet Pokemon like Lucario. But things changed a little bit this time around for the variable outcome Dream Shard Magnet. Let's have a quick recap of how variable works. If you have something like a Swalot, it will farm you anywhere between these two numbers. And on average, you do get the midpoint of these two numbers, which at level 8 is 2875. And which, by the way, is more than the 2500 of the fixed outcome. So we've always known that the variable outcome is better than the fixed outcome if the skill trigger rate is the same. But what's changed this time around is the level increase didn't give you, for one extra main skill seed, gave you a little less than the previous level increase. So investing a main skill seed from level 6 to 7 is worth more than from 7 to 8. Because the difference has fallen. You can barely see it on this chart here. You can see that a little bit more of an exponential increase here, but then up to this point, it kind of goes like a straight line or maybe even tapers downwards a little. Is this a way for the developers to tell us that they're trying to buff Lucario or the fixed outcome more compared to the variable outcome? Have they realized that we realized the variable outcome is better? But no need to sweat because Swalot still remains to be the top tier Dream Shard Magnet Pokemon because it also has the highest skill trigger rate besides the fact that it farms more Dream Shards on average. Here are my top tips for you guys regarding this event. Number 1, which area should you choose? You should choose the area with the highest area bonus and the one you have the strongest team building for, so that you can farm Snorlax strength at the same time as using your Dream Shard Magnet Pokemon if you are using one. But if all areas are equal in how strong your team is and all areas have the same area bonus, then Old Gold Power Plant is the choice. I made a whole video about this before to compare each of the areas. If they had the exact same strength applied, how much Dream Shards will you farm for a certain amount of Snorlax strength? And the key point here to take home is that Old Gold Power Plant can give you up to about 40,000 Dream Shards. In this coming event, it will be multiplied by 1.5, so 60,000 Dream Shards just for your sleep session. Whereas all other areas taper at about 30,000 Dream Shards or even less, down to 20,000 and so on. So Old Gold Power Plant, as long as you got a good team for it, is the area of choice. Old Gold Power Plant simply just has better sleep styles and give you more returns for those sleep styles, therefore you get more Dream Shards as long as you can have enough strength to farm all of that. But this really only applies when you can reach really high Snorlax power. Your resources give you about the same Dream Shards early in the week when your Drowsy power is low because you haven't reached the taper. For new players, it actually doesn't really matter that much. At an earlier point before 2 million, they all give you about the same resources. So the more important thing is good team building and choosing high area bonus if you want more Dream Shards returns. For long-term players or Mega Whales, Old Gold Power Plant is the choice, followed by Lapis Lakeside, and only if you're really unable to hit those two areas, then consider Taupe Hollow. My second tip is it is time to look at your Dream Shard Pokemon to see which one to invest in. For me, my best ones are the Gulpin line, and for Piggy, for this next week, it's actually going to be a Meowth. I'll explain why in a moment. Let's take a look at my options first. I've got this shiny Gulpin here who has skill trigger, helping speed, skill level up. That's actually really good. But I also have this free pin here who is skill level up and skill level up with double helping speed and eventually skill trigger too. This one is also quite broken, in fact quite free to play. I don't actually need to invest a lot on main skill seeds. Could I use this on my team besides another one that I'm going to invest in without having to put seeds into this one? We'll take a look in a moment. There's this other shiny Gulpin that has helping speed and skill trigger, also top tier stats, especially for a shiny, but no main skill level for free. And then there's this one who doesn't have speed, but it has skill trigger in its sub skill, multiplying the skill trigger in the nature, which is a really good boost. And also I don't need to invest it very much because I'm not really unlocking anything useful beyond, well, level 10. Unfortunately for this one, it is caught fully evolved, so it's only skill level 1. And that's going to make a huge difference in a moment. I'll show you on the calculator. So out of these four, which one would be good to invest in? If you have anything similar to any of these four, I think it'll be a good choice to invest in it if that's your best one. So here are the four Gulpin I showed you at their respective stats at level 50. Remember that last one with the skill trigger multiplying the nature skill trigger? That one actually has the highest skill trigger rate, and I wasn't surprised by that because nature stacks well with sub skill on the same stat. The unfortunate thing though is if I don't invest any main skill seeds, it actually farms less Dream Shards than all of the others because of its only level 1 main skill. And as you all should know by now, skill level is where skill specialists shine. If you don't have a good skill level, generally speaking, they're just not really worth using. Which takes me to the free to play options. The ones with skill level up. The one that has 3 skill level up, that one produces about 6 triggers a day, but actually the lowest of my 4 options. But I get level 5 main skill, which in effect actually gives it the most Dream Shards even though it has the least trigger rate. So if I'm completely free to play, if this were someone's free to play account, that option actually looks the most attractive. However, if you're thinking of a long-term investment, something that you will spend all of your main skill seeds on, then the option with the double triggers is the one to go for, even though it costs you 7 main skill seeds to get to level 8. So it all depends on how much resources you have. There's not really one answer for everyone. The good news is I actually have another Swalot that I've started investing in a long time ago. At the start of the game, when Gulpin was completely useless and not a single person invested in a Gulpin, I used Gulpin candies to test out how RP was affected by leveling up. That still happens to be my strongest Swalot to date. It has helping bonus and skill trigger and some skill level, along with a nature that stacks on top of all of that. If you've been on this channel since the start of the game, you might remember Gulping. Compared to the other 4 Swalot, Gulping has way more skill triggers and still has a nice skill level. And of course, I've got the main skill seeds to raise it to level 8. So skill level 4 farms about 8,000 dream shards in a day, but the moment I put it up to skill level 8, it will farm 26,000 dream shards in a day. And if that number sounds absurd to you compared to the numbers we just dealt with, well, it should, because skill level is what defines skill specialists. Without skill level, skill specialists are generally not that good. Multiply that by the event bonus 1.875, I get about 50 dream shards every 24 hours. So in about 3 to 4 days, I'll get back everything I spent on investing in the Swalot, except the skill seeds. And of course, action speaks louder than words. I did indeed invest in that Gulping. Due to EXP down, it does cost me over 200,000 dream shards, but I'm not overly upset. I'll be able to get it back from the next week. And I will probably start using it towards the end of the week rather than at the start, because I still want my Snorlax strength earlier on. And here I'm putting all my skill seeds into raising it to the max level, including 2 sub seeds and 4 main seeds. So while there's a clear winner for the helping bonus Swalot to be invested, should I still run a second Swalot during this next week for the event? I mean, there's this one here that has all the skill level ups. That farms a reasonable amount of dream shards without having to invest any main skill seeds. Unfortunately, right now I spent all of my candies on my Gulpings, so not right now. I don't think I'll be doing it for this event, but it is certainly something I can consider, especially towards the end of the week, when further Snorlax strength at whale amounts don't necessarily add much more to the sleep research dream shard returns. As promised, let's take a look at the free-to-play Piggy's account on what Dream Shard Magna Pokemon she has. She hasn't yet invested in any of them, and definitely has to worry about main skill seeds unlike myself. Let's take a look at her Swalot. This thing is absolutely broken as well. It's got helping bonus, helping speed, skill trigger later on, and it has speed of help up, and it also farms berry finding, which means that during your sleep session you'll get a bit more dream shard returns in that way as well. Unfortunately, it's caught fully evolved. So even if this is her best Swalot, we have a problem. As a free to play, she currently holds 4 main skill seeds and 1 sub skill seed. So far she's invested in a healer, in a Vaporeon for ingredient magnet, which I don't recommend if you have a full coverage for ingredient. But until the day Piggy gets full coverage for all the ingredients, Ingredient Magnet continues to be her main ingredient farmer without having to switch out the team at all. And she's invested a few main seeds on some berry specialists which she's used for a long time, so getting returns in terms of drowsy power. But our plan for her is next to invest in a Tasty Chance S Pokemon. So Dedenne, and she recently caught a good one. So all of those free to play main skill seeds are being locked down already. I don't think Swalot is the one to invest in, especially not one that has fully evolved and doesn't have any skill level up in its sub skills to help her. Let's take a look at some other options she has. This shiny Gulpin has some speed and again berry finding. It's not absolutely broken, but she does like her shiny Pokemon, so it is something we could consider, but also no skill level up. It does save on 1 main skill seed though, because it can evolve. So even in that sense, it's already a little better than the Swalot. But I think the one that she's going to use this event is actually this shiny Meowth. And only because, well, it's got skill level up. So it already saves on 2 skill levels and it can evolve once. And it's shiny. And it has skill trigger a little later at level 50. And all of that without EXP down, which both of her Gulpin options did have. So again, action is louder than words. This is her shiny Meowth, now somewhat invested. She spent all of her candies evolving and leveling up this one. Unfortunately, it won't make it to level 50 for the skill trigger by this event. Let's see if she made the right choice. Now, this is a completely different analysis because we're not spending main seeds. We're trying to minimize the investment. We're actually just looking at level 25. And just keeping whatever main skill level they can naturally achieve. Remember that first one that has a crazy stat. It has Berry Finding, Helping Bonus, Helping Speed, Speed of Help Up. At level 25, it farms 6 triggers, but that's only 1800 Dream Shards. The other one, the shiny one that she can evolve but has worse stats, it does farm a bit more Dream Shards at 1900 for less skill triggers because the skill level is 1 higher. But the clear winner, only for this event where she has minimal investments, is actually Persian because of that skill level up M. So I think given the limited resources, Persian was the right choice. Yes, it has the lowest skill trigger of all 3, but because of that skill level, it actually farms the most Dream Shards. And the good thing is this kind of investment doesn't affect any future Swalot investment. It's not like we're using the same candies. Meowth candies are separate from Swalot candies. So if she really wanted, she can drop 7 main seeds in the future on this almost perfect Swalot. So everyone's situation is a little different. You have to do your own analysis, check that with the calculator, which option you have is the best for you for this event or for future investments. But if any time, now is a good time to invest in one of these Dream Shard Magnet Pokemon. Thank you for watching, guys. Don't forget your Dream Shard bonus Pokemon. Don't forget your Luck Incense. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe.